What's up guys? In this video, we're going to be going through the 3 phases of your poker journey. Now, no matter where you are on your poker career, there's a very good chance you're in one of the 3 phases that we're going to go through. Now, we're all trying to achieve different things, but most poker players get into poker for quite similar reasons. You're either trying to achieve success, you're trying to achieve freedom, or you just enjoy the game and you're a competitive person and you're trying to see how far it goes. Alright, you pick your own journey, you pick where you're trying to get to, but the phases that we go through will become very similar, as you're going to find out today. Alright, now most players enjoy the game when they play, and most players want to create some kind of freedom. Alright, I've had hundreds of conversations with poker players, maybe even thousands by now, and they're generally the general themes. They love playing, they're competitive, but they also want to create some form of freedom. That could be financial, it could be a side income on the side of their jobs, or it could be playing full-time, traveling the world. Right? Whatever freedom means to you, but they're generally why you start the journey. It's important to know because when you're starting out on something like poker, it's like, why do you do it? Why do we start this journey? There is easier things to do than poker, and yeah, generally it's those reasons that get you started. So phase 1 of the poker journey is the I can do this phase, where you're trying to prove something. Alright, and generally you're trying to prove to yourself that you can do it, you're trying to prove to others that you can do it, and you want achievements and validation to show that you're on the right path. Generally when people get into poker, this could be in your first year or first multiple years, you're excited about the game, but you don't know if it can work out. You don't know if you've got what it takes to make it work. You're also trying to prove to your friends and family that you can make it work. Right? If you've got a job on the side, you're showing to your wife and partner and kids that you can make it work. If you're doing it and you went all in from school or university, you're going to prove to your family and peer group that you're not being reckless. And generally, we've got this chip on our shoulder. Right? I know for myself, I was feeling very scary, but also excited when I started my poker journey. I got a one-way flight to Thailand. At this time I was 23, I just graduated uni, and I said no to every normal life path. So for me, I had to prove to myself, I'm not an idiot and I can make it work. But also, my friends and family are saying, Adam, come back, what are you doing going to Thailand? All right, so I remember the first year was a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, definitely a lot of excitement, because I was living with friends in Thailand, but a lot of the drives to play poker every day were, I need to make this work. I need to prove to myself, and in honesty, I need to prove to my family and my friends that I can do this. You know, I didn't know the answers. If someone cornered me and said, Adam, can you make this work? I'd be like, I don't know, I'm going to try. All right, so this first phase is this excitement, scary phase, and some of the challenges we have are from very strong doubts, which phase on these 2 questions. The first question is, am I good enough? All right, this can go very, very deep. Am I good enough as a person? Am I good enough at this game? Am I good enough at absorbing knowledge? Am I good enough to do this? And the second one is this possible for me? All right, you might go, other people are having success in poker, but can I do it? Can I really have success in poker and make money and have the achievements that other people are having? Is that possible? All right, so these are the kind of lingering doubts going in. Now, during this phase, generally, you're going to play, you're going to study, you're going to do everything possible to get better at poker. Most people during this phase are almost obsessive. I know for myself, I was putting like 10 hours a day into poker, just living and breathing it. And most players who have success, like if you look at high stakes players, there is a trend that early in their career, they were obsessed with poker for a while. All right, whether that's dreaming about poker, thinking about it nonstop, putting all your time and energy into it, is generally helpful during this phase because there's lots to solve. All right, and obviously you need to get good at the technical game to beat the games. You need to work out the simple stuff like bankroll management, but obviously very important. You need to know how to study and get better, and you need to learn how to not crumble, how to deal with variance and some early mindset factors. All right, so this phase is all about getting better and proving to yourself you can do it. Now, some of the early milestones on the first phase are, first of all, making money to support yourself. If you're playing full-time, this is very important. For myself, I had bills straight away. I was living in a foreign country. If poker wasn't working and money wasn't coming in, I was on a flight back home very quickly. If you're doing it on the side of a job or part-time, you still need to prove to yourself by making money that I can make this work. It makes sense logically. I can make enough to support myself and I can keep pursuing this. Second milestone will be having a good win rate. You want to prove to yourself you can beat the games. All right, if you're playing for the first year or so and your win rate's negative or break even, it doesn't fill you with the confidence to keep going. All right, so you need to prove I can beat these games that I'm playing. You want to move up stakes. Generally, you're going to start super low. For myself, I started $15 heads up sit and goes, and I move up to 30s, 50s, all the way through. And you want to be moving up stakes to show you're progressing and you can get better and you can move up levels. And then you want to be playing frequently. All right, like I said, some guys like myself will be playing full time every day. Others will be playing on the side of a job. All right, but getting that flow of playing very, very often. All right, they're the external milestones. And as a poker player starting out, you think they're the biggest problems. However, there's some key internal milestones which I would say are even more important than those externals. And the internal milestones include believing that you are good enough. I remember you've got this lingering doubt. Am I good enough? It's in the back of your head over and over. For mine, it was there for at least a year, maybe 2 years, constantly replaying. And you've got to start to believe, I'm good enough. I can do this. I can pick this up. I can learn this game. It's exciting when you start to believe it, but it takes time to develop a deep belief in yourself that you are good enough. And the second feeling, which is equally important, is feeling like you are on the right path. All right, and generally this is through making progress. It's through an enjoyment of the game. It's through just knowing, it's hard to explain, but just knowing this is what I should be pursuing. I can picture myself, I was 23, I was playing poker every day in Thailand, in a nice villa, but still like quite secluded from the world. Everything I knew was happening in England. My friends were getting graduate jobs, meeting up, doing cool stuff. My family's up there as well. And I'm in Thailand playing this game in my kind of office. And for some reason, I had this strong feeling, this is what I should be doing. There's a million things I can be doing with my life right now, but this path I'm on is challenging, it's tough, but something feels right about it. All right, so in those early phases, if you can start to believe you're good enough and you have that feeling like I'm on the right path, boom, you're off to the races, and that's what you need to get going into phase 2. All right, so let's say you've done that. Let's say this phase is, you've already done that chapter, or if you're in that chapter right now, you've got stuff to come after this. But then you go into phase 2, and phase 2 is very different. And I'm gonna call this the apprenticeship phase. And the only way to summarize this is growth and pain. Growth and pain. Now, in the second phase, you're wanting to see how far you can go. All right, you're wanting to beat the competition and move up stakes, and you want to start creating freedom in your life. They're the general kind of things that you're trying to achieve. And this is generally going to be categorized by the mid-stakes levels. All right, so let's say in simple terms, $100 NL to $600 NL. If you're playing MTTs, could be a bit lower average buy-in because those games work quite differently. But now, the excitement starts to fade a bit and reality starts to kick in. I know that might sound a bit like, oh, why is the excitement fade? It's still there because you enjoy the game, but now things get hard, all right? And basically the competition gets tough. When you're playing in phase 1, which is the kind of early phase of your career, you can beat those games just by having good common sense, picking up some strategy, and putting some time into it. You can get a decent win rate. But now you're in mid-stakes pools and you're trying to beat the competition, which are tough. There's good players in those pools. The games aren't easy anymore. You can't just show up and log on and win all the time. There's tough games, and there's better players than you. I'll go into a story about that in a second. And generally, this phase is 10x tougher than you thought it was going to be. All right, you thought it was going to go straight to high stakes when you first started out, and now this phase gets really, really challenging. And you're like, wait a second, this is hard. Now for myself, this was categorized from my jump from 100 NL heads up sit and goes to 200s and 300s. And I remember I was playing every day in hundreds, and I was just shot taking the 200, 300 level, and I saw a new name in the lobby, in the 200 lobby. He was called Rams85. So I sat this guy and said, load up some games, because I didn't recognize his name. Big mistake. Turned out this guy was a very good player, and he started playing me, and he crushed me that day. Next day, when I sat the lobbies, he sat me. The following day, he sat me again. Now for 6 months straight, this player, Rams85, was a bit of a legend in the heads up sit and go world, and I did not know who I was tackling with. Crushed me for 6 months straight, just beat me up. Now I was living in Asia for most of this, so my time zone only overlapped with his for 2 hours. But every day I logged on, I tried to sit lobbies, and he just sat me and crushed me. Now at the time I was pretty confident in my game. I was beating most of the $100 regs I was playing. I was holding my own against other regs at 200s and 300s, and I was trying to get some fish traffic there as well. But this guy was just destroying me, and he literally, day after day, was relentlessly sitting at me and beating me. So I had 2 options during this time: either avoid, don't play him at all, or every day sit down and try and beat him. And I chose the second option. I'm glad I did. And I put probably hundreds of hours into trying to beat this guy. It didn't work that well because even after that amount of time, he was a better player. He was way ahead of me. But every day I would play for 2 hours, I would study his game for the hour beforehand and sit down and play it. I learned so much about strategy. I learned so much about how I was getting exploited, how basically all the gaps in my knowledge. He was just like my leak finder. He was like, you suck, you suck, you suck. And he was pounding me. What I didn't realize at the time is this guy was probably one of the 3 to 5 best players in the whole Heads of Cynical format at this time. He was just playing stakes a bit lower than his skill level, and he was just way ahead. So during this period of playing him, even though I never caught him up during this chapter of my career, I learned so much about poker. I got so much better. I learned about how to deal with my ego of losing, of not being good enough, and I learned how to learn. I learned how to get better. All right, so I look back at that phase as a very important chapter, even though I had many nightmares and sleepless nights about this guy relentlessly sitting at me. I know I've tried to go over and over it, but it was 6 months of almost every day. Like, this guy was playing 6 days a week, so was I. 6 days a week playing some person becomes a big chapter of your life. All right, so I had to learn a lot during that phase, and it was tough lessons. So during this phase, you need to know you lack the skills. You're not good. You suck, in all honesty. Your technical game sucks, and your mindset sucks. You're not used to losing. You're not used to things not going your way. All right, so you need to train, and you need to get better, both from a technical side of the game and also mindset. This is when you start learning about yourself, and this is generally when players reach out to me to work with, or other mindset coaches, in order to build a mindset that can help them deal with the new challenges that they're facing. All right, and this is, mindset becomes important, and you need to break into this phase. You need to break past all the limitations that have held you back. All right, because now, like I said, it gets tough, and you're up against players who are putting you to the test, and you start questioning yourself. The doubts start to linger, and you're like, am I good enough? And you almost want to back away. A lot of players, in all honesty, they quit at this phase, or they get stuck here for very long periods of time because it's tough to get through. All right, now external milestones include building your bankroll and your life roll, so you're in a comfortable position. All right, obviously there's that. In poker, the kind of scorecard is going to be financial at some degree. Breaking into mid stakes. All right, so beating the mid stakes for like a good level, so get a good win rate. I say the 100s to 500 levels over time periods. That takes time. It can mean whatever it does to you. And then getting good at poker. All right, actually getting good at the game and being confident in more spots. You don't master the game, but you're becoming a competent player. Myself, when I was playing hundreds, I thought I knew a lot. Looking back, I was hopeless. Once I started to beat the 200, 300 level and established myself there, I could confidently say I'm getting good in more spots. I know a lot about poker, and I feel like I'm getting good at the game. All right, still very naive, lots to learn, but you get to that point. All right, now more importantly are the internal milestones you have to overcome. And first of all, you need to redefine what's possible for yourself, and you need to break past your old beliefs. All right, this is a real challenge because you go from now you can make like big money, life-changing money. You can make 5 figures plus a month at this kind of level, but also you need to realize I need to let go of all the things that will hold me back. My old character traits, my old beliefs that I wasn't good enough, and you need to step into a whole new belief system. All right, so you need to become the version of yourself that can succeed in poker for the rest of your career. All right, this is the way I work on players with, create an identity that you can step into. Not your old stories and who you were in the past, but you've got to step into a new version of yourself, all right, in the face of all the challenges. And then you've got to develop a winner's mindset. And this is trusting in the process. Now, this gets said a lot, trust the process and this and that, but most players don't. Most players say things to me like, oh yeah, Adam, I trust the process, but I keep losing, and it's hard to keep confident when I'm losing. What that really means is I don't trust the process. I need results to give me confidence, and if I don't get those, I won't be confident. All right? Trust the process means I believe I will figure this out. One way or another, I will find a way to become a winner in these games, and I'm going to keep going as long as it takes to figure that out. All right, so this could be a long phase. This could be a 2 to 5 year phase of your career. I think for me it's about 3. But this phase is about getting good at poker, establishing yourself, and building the belief systems to succeed for the long term. And then finally, we have phase 3, which is the mastery phase. And this is where you get to the top of the mountain. Now, the mountain is your own individual mountain. It doesn't necessarily mean you play the very highest stakes in your game. It means you get to the point where you want to get to. All right, this could be a very good winner at mid stakes. It could be a certain kind of financial situation, but you get to the level where you feel that's where I want to get to. All right, so for some players that is the highest stakes possible. For myself, I started out at $15 games at Heads Up Synagogues, and the highest level was 1Ks, the 1,000 level. And my whole career journey was, can I possibly get there? Can I possibly play those games at a win rate and beat those games? I don't know. And my journey was to figure that out and get to that exact level, which was the highest in my format. All right, so for you, top of the mountain could mean different things, but it's generally the pursuit of getting very good and achieving your outcomes. All right, so here the kind of drives are you want to be the best you can be. All right, you want to see like how far I can go, and you want to realize your full potential. You're like, wait a second, I'm pretty good at this game. How far can I go? Now, some players don't want to make this jump. They almost like don't want to find out where their potential is. But for those who step into this phase, they want to really take on the biggest challenges and go, have I got what it takes? Can I become the best version of myself? And I'm willing to put skin in the game to find out. All right, so challenges here are going from good to great. All right, if you've got to this phase, you've kind of achieved phase 2, you're a very good poker player, but now you want to become great. And now you need to put a disproportionate amount of work into your game, into getting better, into your mindset, into your performance habits for a small gain, small edge. All right, you put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours just to see a small increase. Now, for some players, that's demoralizing. For others, that's like awesome. That's like, yes, I put so much in and get better. And you've got to enjoy the small returns, but the exponentially hard work to get a little bit better. All right, so if that's your mindset, you can do that. This phase is perfect for you, and you'll enjoy here if you're not here already. But here, the challenges are, first of all, you've got a lot of fear, and imposter syndrome starts to kick in. All right, so for myself, my level was the 1Ks, and throughout my career, I just looked at the names in those lobbies. And throughout my 4 years of kind of getting to that level, there was the same 8 or 9 names in those lobbies, day in, day out. So I started to idolize these guys. These were the 10 guys who were the best. There was one guy who broke in. It was actually Dan Coleman, Mr. Green. He broke in like in a short space of time. But other than that, everyone else had been established for a long period. So for me, when I started thinking I'd play those levels and started finally playing those guys, I had imposter syndrome, going, well, am I good enough to beat these guys? Like these are the best guys in my game. I can't be good enough to beat them. These are the idols. So for you, if you start to play the higher levels, you'll start to see names in the lobbies that you've watched on Twitch streams, you've got coaching stuff, all this high stakes end bosses that you've known for many years. It's pretty scary playing against them. A lot of these guys get edged because you're scared and you deviate strategy. All right, so fear, imposter syndrome, you don't want to lose the hard work you put in to get to these levels. And now you've got to match the best players in your game and step into that. It's really, really scary because most likely, if you're like me or most players I've worked with, you're going to come up short in the short term. All right, you're going to lose to these guys. They're going to crush you for a while, and you're going to have to take the ego hit and start rebuild. All right, so next thing you're struggling with, is it worth it? You've come so far. Do I want to sacrifice my bankroll, my hard-earned cash, and everything I put in to potentially to lose it against these guys who are really good? Do I want to risk it? All right, it's a big jump often going to that next level. And what if you're not good enough? What if these guys are better than you and you suck and they take all your money and you lose? Pretty scary to find that out, right? Picture myself when I was battling, like thinking about going into the 1Ks, I was like, if I'm not good enough, how will I deal with this? All right, how will I deal with this? It's going to be a scary thing to realize, so you've got to step into that, okay? So if you're brave enough to take all that on board and go into it and try to achieve, some of the key milestones are quite self-explanatory, in all honesty, because this is the top of the mountain, but you're going to achieve some form of freedom for yourself. That could be time related, could be money related. You're going to live life on your own terms. You'll be able to play poker based on your interest when you want to play, not just driven by money, and you'll generally be crushing any game you play. Any game you choose to play, you have a good win rate. You just choose across the board, live, online, wherever you want to direct your energy, you're going to have a good win rate in the games you specialize in. All right. Now, the internal milestones are very, very important, and as you can probably guess by this video, I argue more important than the external. And internal milestones are, I'm enough. This is the ultimate one you want to reach to. I'm enough. I'm, as a person, enough. Whether that's good enough or you sort of feel, I belong here. I'm enough. I'm complete within myself. Next one, some sort of pride in yourself. I'm proud of what I've done. It's generally going to be an internal feeling when you get to this kind of level. And fulfillment. I feel fulfilled, happy with who I am at this part of my journey. All right, so this is the kind of the phase you're going through. And though when you set out the poker journey, I know for myself and most people I've spoke with, you set out on the journey for achievement, you want money, and you want some sort of success and validation. That's what you think the journey's about. In reality, it's not about those things. You will get those things on the trip, but the journey's all about becoming a better version of yourself. Becoming a version of yourself where you feel like you're good enough. Proving to yourself, I'm good enough. I can do this. I can do things I want to in my life and get to that point of fulfillment, happiness, and feeling good about yourself for what you've done. All right, and that's the poker journey for me. Although I work with players on like how to achieve the financial stuff, The whole journey is about you becoming happy within yourself and feeling good about who you are and what you're doing. All right, and that is the ultimate journey of life. It's the hero's journey. You go on this external pursuit, but it's the internal journey that you're really going on, and you want to see what you can achieve. Now, it's important to note that it's almost like going through seasons, all right? And life's very seasonal. We don't have all the ups, it's not linear. And phase one is very much like spring. It's almost like exciting new opportunities, things blossoming. Wow, can I make this work? All this excitement phase. Phase two is like autumn going into winter. It's almost like things were going good, now things are going dark. Things are getting hard. Things are getting really, really tough. And phase two is a challenging phase. Almost anyone who goes through that kind of initiation and apprenticeship phase at mid-stakes knows it's tough and there's a lot of challenges on that way. But then you come into phase three, the kind of mastery phase, and that's like the summer phase where things feel amazing, you're fulfilled. But again, it doesn't last forever. You don't climb this mountain and check out the game. You generally go into the next phase and you go back into a spring or an autumn or a winter, and you go back into more seasons. All right, so even though you might achieve all your goals in poker this way, there'll be another journey to begin that has more seasons. And you might play many of these seasons out throughout your career to get to that end point, but then you start a new chapter. And most players who get to the mastery phase will then start doing other things and take on new journeys. They have other challenges outside, or they'll start giving back and helping others, whether it's coaching or being advisors through friends. And yeah, there's this real cyclic nature of life where we go through these phases, and our goal is to keep pursuing, keep climbing, and to know which phase we're in. All right, so hopefully this guys is giving you guys some takeaways and some things to contemplate on. Let me know in the comments which of the phases you are in. Also, if you enjoy this style of video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments, because I'm going to put out lots of content for you guys over the coming months that's going to help you to be better poker players and hopefully better people. All right guys, that's all for this video. So plenty more come from me very soon.